Is it hard to pet them both at once? So these two are our new pigs for next year. They're Idaho Pasture pigs. We've been wanting to try this breed for a couple years because supposedly they don't root as much as some other breeds do. We've done Mangalistas and Old Spots before, and both of those rooted a fair bit. So these little ones we're hoping will do better on the mountainside. In general, they won't get as big as Old Spots will, so I think that'll help with not tearing up the mountain as much. But also their parents, we got to check them out pretty good, and they were a good size and literally just raised in fields just like ours. So Idaho Pasture pigs have kind of slowly been coming to Virginia. We've just found, these ones were just about 20 minutes from us actually, but most of the breeders are in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, seem to be the closest ones until about a year ago. For now, they're set up beside the chickens just so we can keep an eye on them and make sure they're trained on electric before we start rotating them around. And also so they get a little bit bigger, because right now these guys are pretty small and I think they could slip under our electric fence. So, but they've been really friendly, a lot friendlier than most of the breeds we've tried. Did y'all come up with names for each of them?
Yeah. Speckles and Nibbles.
Speckles and Nibbles.
It was Speckles and Freckles.
They've kind of gone back and forth, haven't we, on what to name them? They've grown, haven't they? We've been able to put our hens that we hatched earlier this year in with the rest of the chickens. So this weekend we've been trying to get ready for Storm Ida that's coming our direction. By the time it hits us, it's really just wind and heavy rains that we'll be getting. But we've got a couple trees here pretty close to the house. So here's the house, and we've got all these trees right here that are actually really, really tall. I don't know exactly how old these trees are, but they were planted a little too close to the house for our comfort. In the past year, we've actually had 4 trees fall starting about right here. This was a double row of them, and we had 4 fall 2 years ago when we moved here, and this one fell last year. And that one is another stump of one that was blown over, and if you can see beside it, right where Lizzie is, that one is actually really leaning towards the house right now. So we're gonna go ahead and cut a couple of these down just to make sure nothing falls on the house. When a wind barrier like this breaks, more of them, it just seems to, they all come down in a row. I was always told that they were initially planted so the gentleman that built the house, so his wife and daughter could sunbathe in the nude out on the back deck. So for privacy reasons, they'd planted it. They are really beautiful, as I said, but they're not native to our area, and we'll personally would rather have them a little bit farther away from the house so we don't have to worry about anything falling on them. These ones in the back really aren't that close, so those ones aren't too bad. But so to get ready to drop those trees, we're just going to pull all the limbs up. For us, we've just been pulling it right up to the chicken coop here, and if we lift the mesh on the top, we can actually just mulch it right into the chicken coop. And all the chickens have really been enjoying digging around in it. But to give you an idea of where we are, there's the garage. We're eventually going to be cutting a road around here or down where I am and out to where the boys are. And we'll use that to help rotate the cows and pigs and all the animals into the fields down here. So a lot of this was replanted probably about 30 to 40 years ago. At one point it was completely cleared and just grass on this hillside and maybe a couple poplars, but we're going to get all that cleared back and plant some more native species. back in, mostly chestnuts and some apple trees and things along those lines. So we've pulled most of the branches out. Hopefully this evening it'll only be 2, maybe 3 trees that we really have to get out of the way. And then on a different day we'll go ahead and mulch all this up for the chickens. So we're just roping it off. Anytime they're this close to the house, we like to tie them off just to help make sure they fall where we want them. We're getting our second one roped off. This was actually the one we were most worried about. Around the base of it, the roots have actually started to pull up from the previous storm. As you can see, it's already leaning towards the house there. And when we first moved in, the storm that came knocked this one over. Thankfully, it's not leaning on the tree we're going to be cutting, but the wind's been breaking through right there too. No, it's not going to fall in the house. All right, boys and Jenny, come my way, please. No, at least behind the tree, Peter. At least behind it.
Or down here is going to be the same spot. Now be by Mommy. Oh, look, it's falling, it's falling. Wow. Hey, I need to get it out.
Ooh, there we go.
Yay! Try to climb it! I gotta go and explore it! I had to cut it! It's just trying to climb it! I got it! I got it.
Now be careful, it's wet.
I'm pretty sure we have to get that same tree down as the boys' saws.
Watch out.
Watch out, Peter, now! Here it comes! I don't want to melt it.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, almost. Can we just go a little closer?
No. But it is time to call it a night. You know what that means, right?
No.
We gotta go get ready for bed.
Daddy,